Hello everyone, this is Seb from Seb's Garage here. Thank you so much for joining me. I've been meaning to make some content for everyone for quite some time, so here we are, finally getting the ball rolling on that. I figured we'd start out with a bit of a walkthrough with the shop, show you the cars I'm working on currently, stuff you can expect to see on the channel as far as different cars that I need to finish up that I've had here for some time, the turbo build that will be coming up for this, the new daily driver that will be replacing this while the car is being turboed. I would also like to do some DIY stuff on here, teach you guys how to do some good maintenance on these cars and maybe some other vehicles as well. Product install videos of basically everything I offer and whatever else you guys might like to see. I also have a couple of questions which I'd like your input on, and yeah, let's get started. So this is it. This is the Seb's Garage. This is where I do most of my work when I'm not on the computer doing CAD work, doing design stuff for the products I sell on the website. This is the car you guys all saw on the intro and probably the car people know me from the most. This will be getting a turbo build done hopefully over the winter. We will be working with Ethan over at Unequal Fabrication to get that done. I've already got a mock engine that I'll show you in a little bit. Been putting some stuff together. It'll be a T25 off an SR20 engine, and just want something that's kind of simple to put together that people could replicate and make good power on a stock engine before building the spare engine that I've got to really push the envelope on this and see what a fit is capable of. And this will be getting its own video so I can walk everyone through all of the mods that I've done, stuff that I think is worth it, stuff that I think isn't really worth it, things that I think are must-dos, things that are kind of but that'll be a fun one that will be coming up shortly. This here is Danny's second gen Integra. It's a DA9. He has had this car for going on 20 years, I think. We took it apart a couple years ago, actually, now, and we're redoing all of the turbo setup, engine management, fuel system, intercooler piping, cams, transmission, a bunch of stuff. This thing snowballed like a lot of projects tend to do here. And I've actually been prototyping a bracket over here for the use of an EM1 clutch master cylinder, which goes into that guy there, to convert what would usually be a cable driven clutch pedal to work with a hydraulic clutch master and clutch slave cylinder. There's a lot more options as far as clutches and transmissions go for the hydro stuff for the B series, so that'll be something that I will put on the site once it's finished. Right here we've got a GSR, it's a JDM GSR LSD 4.4 final drive transmission in this with the Hasport mounts. So this will be a really fun street car once it's done. Hoping to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 wheel horsepower with an LSD, AC, all creature comforts. Make it a really nice cruiser for him. This car has actually won a bunch of awards. It was built by Dan and his dad, who own a body shop nearby. They actually are the ones that painted my green Civic. And they won a ton of awards back in the day when the whole like Nope and Fast and Furious stuff was really popular in the early 2000s. And this will be a really cool build once it's done, and I'm hoping to be able to get that done here for him shortly. This one here is James 99 C5 Corvette. We actually just finished putting the engine back in this thing. We pulled it out because it was leaking out of pretty much every single gasket, pissing oil all over the place. A lot of the oil was hanging out by the cats, and it was just kind of a fire hazard. So we pulled the engine out, regasketed the whole thing, sent the heads out to get redone, put a routed cam in it, redid a lot of the valve train stuff, did new short tube headers, and yeah, this thing's pretty friggin' rowdy. Needs a couple odds and ends to get finished up. It's going to be his summer weekender fun car with the occasional track use. It does have a little half cage, a couple of Michimoto seats and harnesses, and yeah, this thing should be pretty fun. Hoping to finish it up here before the end of the year and see what it does on the dyno. It'd be really cool for this thing to make somewhere in the neighborhood of 450-ish, but we'll see. This is one that I really need to get out of here soon so I can bring in Jesse's car and finish that up so that then we can get started on my turbo build on the Blackfit. So this may or may not be on the channel. I don't really know yet, but if it's something you guys want to see, I would love to actually get dyno footage of this car, and then also would love to see it do a huge fat burnout, because that's really like what is driving me to finish this car, is just to see a stupid big smile on James's face while this thing is doing a fat burnout. So yeah, let me know if this is something you want to see finished up on the channel. I can make that happen, but otherwise it'll probably just happen off camera. So here we've got Alan's new to him JDM H23 Blue Top. He's got the 5th gen Prelude that I'll show you in a little bit. This is an engine that I'll be putting together, redoing every gasket on, timing belt, water pump, all of that stuff, refreshing it before it goes back into his car. His car had a F20B that someone threw in before he bought it. That thing wasn't serviced, and the timing belt went on it. It bent pretty much all of the exhaust valves on the head, and it ended up being about the same price to, you know, pick up something like this that's lower mileage and is an actual H series, which parts are easier to come by than the F20B that's in the car currently. And you know, he'll be able to just go to any parts store and pick up stuff that is meant for his car instead of trying to piece it together from different vehicles, because it's an engine that we never got in the States. So this will get completely redone, regasketed, all prettied up, and then thrown in the car. Again, not sure if this is a project that you guys want to see. If it is, let me know, leave a comment. It's something that I could record, but I'm hoping to knock out fairly quickly, so I don't know how much time I'll have to record it. It's a really nice, clean 5th gen Prelude. I'll show you in a little bit. The interior is immaculate. It is an auto, which, you know, it's a great cruiser, but not a fast car or fun canyon, whatever. Especially not here in the Chicago area where we don't really have canyons. But I digress. So yeah, if this is something you guys want to see, I can make it happen. If not, I'll just kind of show you along with the process, you know, after stuff is done, instead of, you know, piece by piece and every step of the process. These do have 2 belts because they have a balance shaft, and they're a little bit more difficult than B series or D series timing belts. So if it's something you want a how-to, I can make that happen. But I don't know if there's enough interest in the H series for that to, you know, be a thing. Here we've got a spare L15 for my fit. It's crazy how narrow these engines are when you don't have the manifolds or accessories on them. You know, from here to here, it's this tiny thing that's just really tall. And I picked this up along with a spare transmission for pretty cheap. I built up the spare transmission, redid every bearing and seal, and put an M Factory LSD into my fit over there. This will be what I mock my turbo setup onto, and then after that the turbo will go onto the stock engine, and this will be getting built with some forged components just in case the factory engine in my car ends up blowing up, and knowing how hard I like to push it, it'll probably end up blowing up. I apologize ahead of time for any wind noise. It's a beautiful, crisp fall day over here. This is Jesse's '99 Civic Coupe. It's basically becoming an EM1 clone with a really nice OEM Plus touch to it. Every single little part is getting redone. The bay was repainted, so it's got clear on it now, which they don't come clear coated from factory. This engine is a poor man's Type R, but not so poor considering what's gone into it. It's a GSR bottom end with a 4-piston internal package put into it, a built V16 head. As much as I hate that term, this has every single thing you could possibly do to it other than deleting VTEC and doing you know, one of those VTEC killer setups on it. This will be a street car, so it's not that aggressive, but it does have a really rowdy cam in it. Should make over 200 wheel horse NA, and after break-in is done, it will be getting a Jackson Racing supercharger put on it, and it should be making somewhere near 300 thanks to a lot of LHT components. If you haven't checked out LHT, they are a company based out of Florida that deals with all the superchargers, and they actually put a water-to-air intercooler inside the manifold form, which really helps drive up the power and cut down on the heat soak. This is Alan's 5th gen Prelude. The engine popped the timing belt, bent all the valves in this head. So we're going to be putting that H23 in it and getting it running. It is auto, but it's a really clean car for being in the Chicagoland area. It's got pretty clean quarters. The interior is in really nice shape. And it's just a really nice example of this car. It had an F20B put in it at some point, and parts are difficult to get. So we're putting an H23 in it so that, you know, he can just go to any auto parts store and just get parts for it pretty easily. It's also a lower mileage and a lot less leaky of an engine of what was in there. And the cost of redoing all the valves that were bent because of the belt ends up being about the same amount of money as putting a lower mileage H23 in it. I still don't really know if this is a project that will be getting worked on the channel or off camera, but tell me what you think. If you'd like to see this thing getting revived, I can make a couple of videos about it and show you guys the process. This is my 97 Honda Civic hatchback. Started out as a bare shell, and I built it into a fun weekend, mostly track-oriented car in 2019. I've maybe put 2,000 miles on it since, and I ended up rod knocking this engine last year, so I need to finish up my B20 VTEC and figure out what's going on with it. This is a 98 spec Type R, so I do want to save this if I can. It also has the matching JDM LSD 4.7 final drive transmission, and yeah, a lot of really cool old school goodies have gone into this. A lot of parts that I put together over the years, and I'd really like to clean it up and just, you know, make this car a nice, comfortable ish weekender that I actually want to take out, because right now it's such a track car that it's uncomfortable and I don't really use it, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to enjoy this more since you know, it's here, might as well. So that about sums it up for this one. Now that you've seen all the projects I've got here, engines to put together, cars to finish, future projects on my vehicles and others, I'm interested in hearing what you've got to say. So please leave a comment and let me know. What are you excited to see? If there's anything in particular you'd like for me to shoot and post on the channel, I'd be happy to hear from you and get back to you guys. And I'd really appreciate it if you were to subscribe and give it a like. It will help the channel quite a bit. And then if you would like to support, I also have a website, which is www.sebs-garage.com. I'll put the link down in the description, where you can get yourself some merch, some stickers, and I'm currently selling a bunch of fit parts, and I will start on some Civic stuff here shortly. I'm working on quite a couple prototypes that I need to finish up, but I'm hoping to create a whole bunch more stuff for you, be it products to sell on the website or video content like this. So please let me know what you think, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today.